are back here on Tuesday yet again for Hawk Talk here on 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater. Welcome into the show. I'm Chris Bittner, I'm the host, and I'm joined in by, as always, fantastic crew, Alex Lazzarini, Ryan, Colin, Creston, and Michael. Guys, how was your spring break?
Pretty good.
I'd say generally it went well.
Yeah. I did 90% nothing, and then I went to the Bucks-Lakers game on Tuesday, which ended up being the game of the year, so that was
I
pretty
respectfully
exciting.
disagree.
Well, for me, a LeBron stan, I was pretty upset when I heard he wasn't playing, but then when it ended up going to double overtime and the Lakers won anyway, it was hype.
I went hiking in the Smoky Mountains, and I was, trying to be all fun and spontaneous and, walk on rocks through a creek, and I slipped and had to walk back to the car with just wet socks.
And you're like, I'm never going outside again. This sucks.
This is the worst thing ever.
Well, right now, going outside is not the move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the groundhog lied, and I'm very upset.
Yeah, I saw that on one of the stories today for the Whitewater stories. I was like, that's so real.
I felt like a cat when you put it in a bath or something. I was just angry.
The snow when I was walking up the hill here was just pelting me in the side of the neck. It was just blowing sideways.
I know. It's like whatever way I turned, the wind just turned with me, and the snow just kept coming at my face.
Maybe
if I go this way, it'll be fine.
It was honestly just disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah. Appalling.
Yeah. The fact that we have snow on April 2nd is appalling to me.
Well, I got pelted by rain after work anyway, and then just pelted by snow on the way here.
Yeah.
You got hit with a double whammy.
Well, 5-hour change, but whatever.
That's how it be. But as we jump into today's show, our Warhawk thought today, we're going to quick go over our unfortunate bracket from what we made before the NCAA tournament this year. And to be honest, guys, it was just quite unfortunate. We're hanging in there. I mean, it could have honestly been worse. My individual bracket was a lot worse than the one that we created. We got 1 out of the 4 Final Four teams right. Probably the worst pick we had through the entire thing. Looking at this,
Did we have Purdue out
in
early?
Arizona, the national championship.
We had Purdue out in the second round.
Yes, we did. We had a TCU who did not even make it out of the first round, beating Purdue.
Moment of silence.
Bracketology.
I'm speechless.
TCU lost by 16 to Utah State, and then Utah State lost by 40 to Purdue.
We're just self-proclaimed bracketologists. It's not like...
We're not experts here.
Right.
A lot of this is purely speculation, actually.
We're unpaid interns, essentially.
Right.
Just talking. So.
Also, I believe I goofed this one up. I said New Mexico was going to beat the brakes off of Clemson. They lost by 20.
I had a good feeling about New Mexico, too. And honestly, at this point, I forgot they were even in the tournament because they lost so early.
You guys instilled this idea in my head that New Mexico State was, the best team in the nation.
Well, because I know a guy who goes there, so obviously
that's
they're
it?
great.
That has to
You're
be the
biased?
reason.
Yeah. They're a good basketball team,
That
obviously.
sucks. You've doomed us.
I don't think
Well, they were
that.
KenPom 22, and Clemson was a 6 seed, ranked KenPom 40 or something. So it's
Did I pick that?
Analytically,
I'm
New Mexico's the better
95%
team.
sure that was a me game.
Oh, thank God.
Other interesting ones that we picked, just looking through this, we got the Kentucky game wrong. I want to shout out Jack Golke just because he turned into a prime Klay Thompson for
Dude,
a game and a half.
He took his 15 seconds of fame and just cashed it in. I was scrolling through Instagram and then I just see a Wingstop ad with Jack Golke in it, and I'm like, dude,
he was also
people
in there
just
with.
found out who
I
you
think he
were.
was in there with Buffalo Wild Wings too. It's
yeah, that's what it was.
And he was at
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Barstool HQ.
Yeah, he was there watching games
Hey.
with what's his name, Big Cat.
Man's got his head screwed on straight. He knows he's not going to go to the NBA, or so he says. I feel like the Heat are going to pick him up or something like that.
Dude, he can
most
work
likely.
for the greatest enterprise dealership just of all time.
He could be an announcer or something. I don't know. He'll be all right.
Color commentator, that could work. He could work for UWW-TV or 91.7 The Edge, as far as I'm concerned. Also, I got slandered. I, before the tournament, said that NC State had a decent chance just because they won the ACC tournament. I knew nothing about them. But looking at what happened in North Carolina, I think it was 2 years ago now with Caleb Love and Armando Bacot and RJ Davis, where they made that improbable run all the way to the championship and then lost. They came out of the the ACC tournament doing that, and now we see NC State, who's even a lower seed than they were, doing this again. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
DJ Burns
Yeah,
is that guy. he's getting interest from NFL teams. They want him on the line. I would too if I was an NFL team. Big boy.
His game is just so beautiful. He knows he's not the fastest out there. He takes his time. He's like a Jokic.
He's a fan favorite.
I want to say it's like his 6th year in college.
It's
Yeah,
also-
because he
it's his
started
third
at Tennessee.
school.
He
Yeah.
started at Tennessee, then he transferred. I think it was like some mid-major
Yeah.
school. I don't
Winthrop.
remember which one.
Winthrop.
Winthrop, yeah.
Get a job.
He will.
Him and Jack Golke are
Either
going to be
in
like
the
business
NFL or
partners.
the
Any
NBA.
sport, he'll do it.
He could even
Any
go into like
contact
sumo
sport.
wrestling.
Also,
could.
the fact that so far the best run they've been given was by Oakland of all teams.
Yeah.
Like that's
Golke.
just wild to me. Jack Golke and I forget his first name, Townsend, gave them like their best run of the tournament.
Townsend.
Also, Laz, I will give you your props. James Madison over Wisconsin. Wisconsin
Thank
looked
you.
awful in that game. Absolutely horrendous.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a great guard coach team, so I don't know what more to expect there. I just feel like after the Purdue game, even in the Purdue game, they didn't look that good. It's just Purdue did not play their best, and then you play one of maybe the best mid majors in the tournament, and that's what happens.
I knew nothing about them. I just saw how Wisconsin played in the Big Ten tournament, and I was kind of talking out of the side of my neck there. But hey, James Madison.
Sometimes that works better. I know before the show, Colin was talking about how his friend was doing a
Yeah.
lot better than any of us did.
Shout out Hunter Castning. He picked based off mascots because he knows nothing about sports, and now he's currently winning in our group, even though he's maxed out all his points because he has no teams left. But
Well, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Right now.
I think one upset I picked was Drake was going to upset Washington State.
Yeah, Tucker DeVries did not get it done in that game, unfortunately. One of my friends said, like, at the end of the day, in a game like that where it's like a toss-up, you go with the team with the All-American, and the team with the All-American did not win.
that's March for you.
Also, Tucker DeVries entered the transfer portal, and within like 12 hours was already committed to his dad's new school.
So much madness in March.
For
Well, I
real.
guess it's
It's
April now.
almost like it's mad, and
Yeah.
it's March.
Yeah.
March Madness.
But also,
Some madness.
Illinois Iowa State was another good game. It ruined my bracket, but it was a great game to watch. Iowa State was maddening though. They had so many chances to win that game, and they just blew them all.
Yeah.
I had Iowa State in the Final Four, so
I had Illinois.
Can we talk
I
about
also
the
had Illinois.
the absolute defensive clinic that NC State put on Marquette?
Yep.
Marquette shot 13% from three.
That was abysmal.
It's just another
Some
shock
of
of
the
Smart
threes
March.
though that they had were like wide open, and they just
Yeah.
didn't hit them.
It was just another shock of Smart. Absolute.
Disaster class.
Wisconsin teams are not built for the postseason
Shaka stupid.
at all.
Shaka Smart, more like Shaka below average intelligence. More like Shaka low IQ.
Just defaming this man. He's gonna sue us.
Also, Jared McCain is out of the tournament. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, he's only 2 days into college, so
But he's 3 lectures behind.
yeah, true.
Also, can we talk about Illinois getting outscored 30-0 on a run?
that is-
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Like
Yeah,
that.
30-0.
It was like I
insane.
watched them just completely melt down, like in a way that I don't think I've seen a team melt down ever before.
Well, you check the score early in the first half, and you're like, "Oh, good game," and then you go do something else, and you check the score, and you're like, "Oh, it's over."
Yeah, you legit like,
Wasn't it like 28?
Yeah, it's 28-23
Yeah.
at halftime.
Okay.
and then
then
you
it-
legit like miss halftime and go do something and don't watch the second half
Yeah,
for 5
that's-
minutes.
that's what
And
happened.
it's legit over. You're like, oh, I don't have to watch this now.
Oh wow. They're up
Terrence
30
Shannon was on
points.
fraud watch in that game.
Yeah.
No, like I don't
Fraud
think
watch.
Illinois made a shot for like at least 8 minutes.
It was 8 minutes, I think.
It was like 51 minutes of real time
Yeah,
they
Kevin
went
Harlan
without
said that on air. He's like,
scoring.
it's been over 50 minutes of
It's
real
been an
time
hour,
since
and
they
these
scored a
guys
basket.
still haven't made a shot.
It was like eventually that game just turned into like Marcus Damas, Terrence Shannon, and Hawkins just chucking up whatever.
I mean,
the
like
heck
they couldn't even
wanted
get to the free throw line or anything.
When
No.
JV plays varsity.
That's literally what it looked like. Because
Just scrimmage.
Klingon
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
having a dunk show out there.
Especially out of halftime. Like, how do you not score
You're rested.
out of halftime?
Yeah, what is that?
You just rested.
What is that post game speech like?
And got electrolytes.
Ah, good
Like,
season,
all right,
guys.
Well, at least we made it here. Go have a good summer, boys.
Yeah, thanks for getting me fired.
I highly doubt that Brad Underwood is getting fired, but Yeah, the comment reigns true. Also,
Brad underwear.
North Carolina disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I had him also in the Final Four.
Also, shout out to Alabama coach Nate Oates, former assistant coach here at UW Whitewater, and TJ Otzelberger, Iowa State head coach, was a point guard here for 4 years.
Dogs.
Wow.
I'm gonna
The
be
Whitewater
honest,
connections run deep.
I knew that North Carolina wasn't going to be that good or make it past the Sweet 16.
You could have told me that, Michael. I was believing in them for some unknown reason.
I'm just confused on how Alabama is like. What are they ranked defensively?
It's like 90th or something.
112 coming into the tournament, and they're in the Final Four. Like, how did?
Because them boys can score.
You know what
I
they say?
understand- yeah.
Defense wins games, offense wins. Oh wait,
Wait,
I don't know. I mean, they haven't played a top. The best offense they played was North Carolina, and they were ranked 24th. So I feel like now that they're going to play
when R.J. Davis was not great in that
Yeah.
game either.
I don't know. I just think at some point Alabama's lackluster defense is going to get them in trouble.
I think just like there's some hex going around on UConn. You know, they stole Mike's secret stuff.
Maybe.
Or
They do it every year in March. It's like clockwork. The second their men's team makes the tournament, you might as well just give them the trophy already.
I feel like NC State's run is giving me like flashback from Syracuse. Like
Or Loyola Chicago.
Yeah.
Except they don't have Sister Jean, so.
No, they have DJ Burns.
Yeah,
DJ Burns is the new Sister Jean.
you don't need Sister Jean.
I feel like every like underdog team has like an icon from
The
it.
guy.
Like Doug Edert for St. Peter's and like some of those other ones in the past.
Robbie Avila would have been that guy if they,
Kareem
if
Abdul-Jabbar.
they made the
He
tournament,
would
which
have
they
been
should
that
have.
guy. Larry Nerd.
Dude, I thought they were gonna make the tournament. I'm not gonna lie.
They would be in
They
NC
should have.
State's
They
position.
should have. They would
They'll
be
know it.
in the Final
You
Four
think
right
so?
now if they made it.
Well, the region that like Wisconsin and Houston
And Hart.
that region was objectively not good in my opinion. Like there was just not a lot of talent in that region compared to some of the other ones. It's like Wisconsin was a terrible 5 seed. I don't think Duke was a great 4 seed despite making it as far as they did. Marquette is, Shaka below average IQ.
Shaka idiot.
Kentucky can be good, but they do what they
what
did.
was all that nonsense?
Jack Golke
all
was that nonsense.
malarkey.
10 for
Guy
20
hit
from
10
3.
threes, like
Can we talk about him just for a second on how he shot 8 2-pointers the entire season?
Yeah, that's.
he knows his game.
I was watching that game like my life depended on it. I was just
For
Right
those
in
who
front of
can't
the
see,
TV.
Alex is mean mugging the TV.
I had my arms folded, just standing up, and Jack Golke just basically reached out of the TV and slapped me across the face. That's what he did.
Pewaukee, Wisconsin native.
Facts.
There were a lot of Wisconsin guys that like made runs this year, like Milan Momcilovic for Iowa State, Marcus Damask Milan did not play well in his final game, but
Wisconsin? Sounds
Yeah.
like he's from Romania or something.
I think he's Albanian or something like
and
that,
it's
or
crazy.
Serbian.
It's crazy that none of these people go to Wisconsin. That's crazy how they
No,
leave. Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to Wisconsin.
we may have to have a dialogue on this show about Greg Gard's recruiting tactics because the Gus Bus also just entered the portal last week.
He took a visit with Stout though.
I think that was an April Fool's
Oh,
joke.
okay. I thought that. Okay.
Could you imagine being
He's
a
getting fooled by these April
No,
Fools.
I didn't. I did not the first time. The Justin Simmons one, I said it's April Fool's.
Oh, you called it out.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I always need a source verifying pretty much everything I see.
I just
and
don't believe anything you
Dave
see.
on Twitter is
Unless
not a
it's
valid
Woj
source.
bomb. If it's a Woj bomb,
I don't
There's
know.
also that
He
fake Woj
yeah.
account.
He was
that'll
throwing
get
some
you.
out on April Fool's.
that's sick.
Yeah.
That's twisted of him.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day.
Some kind
It
of
was
sick
Ian
joke.
Rappaport put out like a bunch of exclamation points. It was something
Yeah.
about soccer. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, don't do this to me.
Or he always goes like big news, and then you click on it, and it's like not.
Schefter did this once. It was like the Jets made their trade. It was like for a 7th round pick.
Yeah.
No, I'll always see like one huge headline on April 1st, not realizing what day it is, and I'll be like, oh, wow. And then I'll see like April Fool somewhere, and then the rest of the day, I just don't believe anything I see.
No, you can't.
People are pranksters, man.
Yes, they are.
Or
And
Jokesters.
jokesters, yeah.
They like to have their fun. That is for sure.
Funny
bunch of
guys over
goons.
here. Funny guys over here.
I think with that, we're going to move into our first official topic of today. The Final Four, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. I guess the first question I'm going to preface is, can anyone beat UConn? Michael, go ahead.
I don't think that anyone should be able to beat them. I mean, they're probably the best team on paper in every other statistical category. I don't know. The only thing I can maybe see is the only thing I can say is maybe they remind me a lot of the 07 Patriots. So I don't know. They could have that collapse to some NC State or Purdue.
Could you imagine that?
That would be crazy.
I want NC State to win it all.
NC State is going to steamroll Purdue, and then they're going to steamroll UConn.
Zach Edey is not enough for the DJ Burns aura.
No, he's not going to be
not.
able to back him down. He's going to try his little one dribble, little post hook thing.
The thing about Edey, though, is he's just so much taller. If he gets to that spot, it's like you can't do anything. You just got to follow him and hope he misses the
I
free
don't know, I feel like
throws.
DJ Burns has like 50 pounds on him, though. Just push him around.
That is true.
Well, I
He's
know
275.
We've all seen that video of Zach Edey standing in the door frame.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have.
He's got to get down.
Yeah.
He's got to get down in there.
Purely speculation, of course.
Well, him standing next to the door
Yeah.
is what I'm talking
Well,
about.
he has to like duck underneath.
Sources
It's-
saying Zach Edey is tall.
Yeah.
Wait, really? 7'4" is
It's a hot
considered
take,
tall.
hot take, but
I don't know,
hear me
though.
out.
His game is so weak, so whack.
Because Burns can shoot the two, and I don't know if I've ever seen Edey not defend in the paint. So I'm not sure how that's gonna.
They could run a zone though. I feel like and just send all their perimeter guys around
I
DJ
don't
Burns
think.
and
just
let
hits
Edey
10
just kind of sit
threes.
down there.
I don't think I've seen Zach Edey take a shot with two hands that wasn't a free throw.
I
It's
saw
like
him
one
make a
dribble.
3 one time, and it was when they were up by
was
like
it off the
25.
glass or
Dreaming?
something?
Yeah, like
It was from the top of the key. No, I think he made it straight. Like it was a normal shot.
I feel
but
like guys
it was
like
it was
that.
late in the game and they were up by like 20 points.
It was like, oh, I'm going to shoot a 3 now. Oh.
Well, yeah, because the crowd. Once you get to that point in a game, it's like the crowd just wants that.
I'd be chucking threes too.
It's like Dwight
Yeah.
Dwight
I wouldn't
Howard
even be
made a
in the
3
game.
in a Lakers game one time.
Yeah. Dwight Howard was low-key a sharpshooter at the end of his NBA career.
He can
started lighting
when he's
them
in
up.
like Taiwan now. He can shoot
He had like 10 threes in a game in Taiwan.
It's like I was watching it. It was like JaVale McGee, who's like not known as a shooter at all. It's like him and some other big. I forget who it was off the top of my head, but I was watching him. He's like stroking threes and stuff and just killing it.
who's getting up there to defend him though?
Exactly. Creston?
I feel like honestly, if anybody is gonna beat UConn, I feel like Alabama might do it just because of like we were talking about earlier. Alabama can score, and I think UConn's biggest thing, they went 3 for 22 from the 3 against Northwestern, and
I think that's an underrated factor is
Yeah.
that they just could not shoot in
and
that game. But
3 of 17 in the Illinois game. And I feel like if Donovan Clingan gets into foul trouble, their backup is okay, but when you have a guy averaging 2.5 blocks and about a steal a game at center, that's just menacing and somebody that you can't just be like, oh, you got to go play for him now. Good luck. Especially against a team like Alabama, Purdue, even NC State. I feel like if you don't have a guy that can sit there in the paint and defend, then that's a problem.
I think that-
I would meet Edey at the rim.
I'd
would
like
love
to
to
see
see
that.
Let's
He
get
would
him in
baptize
Catchell
you.
Gymnasium.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, what does I don't see him have anything on Aaliyah Grundle, honestly.
No, he'd
She could
get
box
packed.
him out.
He'd get packed.
She could box
Low-key.
him out, yeah.
Katie Hildebrandt might give him the business on those like reverses. Colin?
Yeah, I mean, UConn has led by 30 points in every game of the tournament so far. They got 5 guys averaging double figures. They've got Donovan Clingan, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 3 steals.
Not
in
to
the
mention
Elite
that
Eight.
he's 7'2".
7-2. Alabama, they've got Grant Nelson. He also had 5 blocks versus North Carolina, pretty good, but I just have the feeling that Mr. Clingan is going to go off in the paint. And, I mean, yeah, they're not the best shooting team, but does that really matter? They got lockdown defense. They can score kind of at will. But Alabama on the other side has that Mark Spears kid averaging over 24 a game
That
in the
fella.
tournament and 45%
That
from 3,
whippersnapper.
which is really good, as well as Grant Nelson. So I just don't know. I mean, UConn has already beat better teams than Alabama, so I think it's going to be a pretty easy W for UConn.
I was saying before the Illinois UConn game, I'm like, like legitimately when Terrence Shannon was on the floor, I didn't see a team being able to beat Illinois. And then, because they had that big guy, I think his name was like Deja or something like that. Danja?
Danger.
Yeah, Danja. And, like, he was just having a feast against, like, Iowa State because they were just a smaller team. But then against, like, UConn, Klingon just made him look silly the entire game. And just the entire Illinois team, like, they couldn't get anything going offensively. I think that's, like, such an underrated part of what UConn does is they're not only, like, a great offensive team, but they're also, like, they're fantastic on defense. They're not, like, a one-trick pony. And that's, I think, what makes them so dangerous. Ryan, excuse me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on anyone being able to beat UConn?
Yeah, I think beating UConn's tough because I think a college basketball analyst said that UConn has been one of the most dominant teams in March Madness in recent years.
I mean, they've been dominant. They were dominant last year, too.
Yeah.
I don't even think a team came within 15 of them the entire tournament.
So I think a player to watch UConn needs. I think a guy in Alabama is good. Mark Sears.
Mark Spears, yeah.
Mark-
Or is it Sears or Spears?
I believe it's Spears, unless I spelled it wrong. Unless I'm wrong, it's Spears.
You added a letter.
Or maybe it autocorrected. Yeah, it's Sears.
Yeah, it's Sears. Yeah, I was like, I
said
thought it was
That's
Spears,
blame
but
autocorrect.
That
You're good.
Spears
Like,
kid.
Klingon's
Cut that
been
out. Let's cut
good
that out.
this tournament. I think for Purdue, I feel like Purdue's no one's. I think no one's getting enough credit to Braden Smith.
I think just they have a couple of dogs on that team. Like, I think
Yeah.
Lance Jones is his name,
Yeah, I
Braden
think-
Smith, Fletcher Lawyer. Like, those
Yeah.
guys can all hit threes.
Yeah,
Those are the type of guys, like, that you want to surround a guy like Zach Edey with.
Yeah, I
Like,
think-
he just gets the defense to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I
converge,
think-
and then he just kicks out to the open
Yeah,
shooters.
I think his NC State's tallest guy is like 6'10".
Well, DJ Burns is a different kind of force just
Yeah.
because.
He's only like 6'9".
Height is just he's 6'11". Height is
he's-
just a number. He's 275.
Yeah.
For,
He's a thick boy.
so for Purdue, just Braden Smith getting the ball to Zach Edey the whole time.
Yeah, I
the
think
paint.
Purdue can play that, like, inside-out game, and I feel like it could be really effective for them. And, like, just how they can, like, get the ball down. They draw the trap on Edey because you can't. I feel like almost nobody in college can just play, like, an individual, like, one-on-one defense with him consistently. You have to send double teams. And then with that, if there's two guys on him, he's so much taller that he can just see all around the
Yeah.
floor and spot the open shooter.
It's just also, I mean, Purdue has 3 guys shooting over 43% from 3. So even if you can lock down Edey, then you've got guys who are going to make the open threes. So it's like, pick your poison. How do you want us to beat you? kind
Yeah,
of thing.
pretty much. It's like teams that beat Purdue, they have to, like, the biggest way to do it is probably just getting Zach Edey in foul
Yeah.
trouble.
Go
I
at
heard
him.
someone say about Zach Edey once that, like, someone said about him, like, he's not good. He's bigger than. Someone said, like, he's not good. He's just bigger than everyone on the court.
He's not bigger than DJ Burns, I'll tell you what.
There is one thing that I will give him, though, and that's he's decent at the free throw line for his size. Like, you see a
better
lot
be
of
if you're
bigger
shooting
guys.
15
Yeah.
free throws a game.
Like, if there's one thing like that I got to give him, it's just that
Yeah.
he's talented enough at the free throw line to get it done. Laz, do you have any thoughts on this UConn versus the world type thing?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's going to be NC State that really just gives it to UConn. I don't think Alabama's going to do it. Their defense is pretty lackluster against a high-scoring team like UConn. Granted, Alabama shot 69% against Clemson the other night. I don't think they're going to be the team to beat UConn. I think UConn's probably going to win everything. So why wouldn't they? They've just been blowing everybody out.
I also feel like Alabama plays this mentality sometimes of just, like, we're just going to kind of shoot it and hope it goes in. Like, I feel like they shoot a lot, and that's how they score a lot.
I
Because
think
they
that's
shoot,
just kind of their whole system is just
Yeah.
high scoring, give up a lot of points.
they
like,
shoot quickly, and it either goes in or it doesn't, and that's why they score so much because they get so many possessions.
Watching that Purdue game when they played Tennessee, it was just like everybody would collapse on Edie, and he wouldn't even have to look. He could just, and somebody's out there. You
Yep.
know?
I mean, they execute their game plan very well.
Yeah, like just give the ball to Edie, and Edie will get the job for you. Like, and then Edie will get the job done for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I think moving over to that other game, I just want to touch on it really quick before we move on. But do you guys think DJ Burns, like legitimately, without joking, do you think he can like put enough of a stop to Zach Edey that gives NC State a chance in that game? I guess Laz, I'll start with you again.
I'm going to need to see, like, the first couple minutes of the game, I guess, to really give you a solid answer. I don't think Edie's going to be able to bully him around like he has other bigs in the tournament so far. But, you know, I think he's just a better player, all jokes aside, unfortunately. Because we all love Burns. Everybody?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And DJ's a good player, like genuinely. Like he has good footwork in the post. He can make his free throws at a decent clip, which is pretty much what you need as a big.
Right, but he's not getting up there. And if he does get up there, Edie will just get up there higher.
Yeah, it's like if DJ
and
can
pack
jump,
him.
Edey will just jump 4 inches
Zach
higher.
Edey did not need a ladder to cut down the net after the Elite Eight win. The ladder was there. He walked right by it. Just went up
Yeah,
to
it's
the
like
net.
all his
It's
teammates
like,
have to like come up.
Come on now.
Edey just reaches up. It's good enough. It's like, and not only that, it's like if you get him to a certain position, he's gonna dunk on you. Like it's just a given because all he has to do is reach his arms up and find the rim.
Boring basketball.
It is somewhat unwatchable, but
The most boring team in the tournament.
Ryan,
Yeah, just like I don't see NC State stopping Edie in the paint. Like, so I think Edie's just too big, too unstoppable to stop when he's in the paint, like going up for a layup. So I think it's gonna be Purdue and UConn.
yeah, I mean, it's tough to say otherwise, which is kind of ironic because in my bracket that I made, the 2 1 seeds that are eliminated are the ones that I picked to go to the Final Four, and the ones that I didn't pick are the ones that
I
are
mean,
still in.
you really hate to see 2 1 seeds in the
Yeah,
championship.
just so
You do.
chalk. Especially when one of them is Purdue.
I got to give it to
stinky.
NC State, though. They did buck the trend a little bit.
Yeah, one Cinderella story. But I don't know, like you were saying, Chris, the only thing you can really do to beat this Purdue team is get Zach Edey into foul trouble. And I think if there's any man for the job, it is the 6'9", official height, 6'9", 275-pound man, DJ Burns. He's going to be able to put, like, he might not have the height advantage or he might not have the athleticism, but he's just got such a big body that he's going to be able to get down there.
He can
and
be
get-
physical.
Get Edey close to the paint and go up, and then hopefully you get some foul calls, and then you get Zach Edey into foul trouble. Then you got to put him on the bench, and that opens things up for NC State. But in all, it being realistic, it's probably going to be Purdue winning this game. But NC State's made it this far, you know, and
You
Purdue
got to give them their props.
probably the weakest 1 seed, so anything could happen.
I almost feel like we're saying that as a cope at this point. It's like we're
Yeah.
just saying they're weak, even though they keep winning.
I'm reaching deep in the bag of coping mechanisms this March for my tournament.
Creston?
Yeah, I think for me, I don't think they can stop Purdue. Something I will say about Purdue that I've noticed is they don't really ever change their game. So if somebody makes them uncomfortable, I feel like that'll be the time when they'd be vulnerable. Like we were talking about, they give it to Edey, or they run along the 3-point line and run like the swing offense and then give it to Edey and he either kicks it out or shoots it. I feel like if somebody gets them uncomfortable, that'll be the biggest test for them to see if they can actually win.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to get them out of their game plan. I feel like Matt Painter just kind of sticks to what works, and they haven't really had an issue not doing that so far this year. Michael?
I mean, I think that they can definitely give them some competition. I definitely think that they'll make it difficult for Purdue, honestly. But do you want me to like a prediction, like who I think will win, or just generally?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I don't know. Generally, I think I'll take NC State. No joke.
Ooh, I like it. So we get Donovan Clingan versus DJ Burns in the final.
Yeah.
That would be a matchup, too.
I think Purdue still has that mentality that, like, they have to prove it to everyone else, especially after last year's first-round exit.
Yeah, where they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson.
And who was it that they lost to a 16 seed and then won the next year? Was it
Virginia.
That was Virginia that did that.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, they lost to UMBC, and then they went all the way the next year.
Sounds like a news station.
UMBC, your premier news station.
91.7 The Edge.
It does not clear Hawk Talk. But with that, we're going to move into our next topic, talking about baseball a little bit. I guess I always like to do it on the first week of a show, overreactions to like what's transpired in the first week of play, or not even week. I mean, opening day was on Thursday. The first like half week of games. I got a couple overreactions for you guys. I put them in the email. The first one I have is that the NL Central, there is no favorite, and I honestly think all 5 teams have a legitimate shot, and you could make an argument for all 5 so far this year to be able to come out on top at the end of September. I guess, Creston, I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I honestly was thinking the exact same thing when I saw that email. I think that each team has not like outstanding talent everywhere, but each team has enough talent to where they could carry themselves to the top in the end. But yeah, I think obviously, you have the Brewers who are started out 3-0. The Pirates
up 3-2 at the end of the 8th inning right now.
Yeah, Pirates undefeated right now. Cubs struggling a little bit, and they just lost Steele for a little bit there. But I just feel like, none of these teams will probably do anything in the playoffs because I don't think they're like good enough to do that. But yeah, when they're beating up on each other, they can probably battle it out, and whichever team has the most talent and less injuries at that point will probably take it.
I want to ask you your thoughts on the Reds, because I feel like they could be a really intriguing team this year if guys like Ellie De La Cruz just get going.
Yeah, I think we saw it last year where like their talent carried them, and yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, the Reds are a team where you probably don't want to play them in the first round of the playoffs just because it'll lead to maybe an upset or even maybe what is it in the first round? It's a 5-game, isn't it? Or is it 3?
It's best of 3 is the wild card round.
Yeah, so they would probably take you to a 3-game series, which you don't really want as a wild card team in the MLB. But yeah, I feel like their young talent carries them a lot, so we'll see how that goes this year.
They're definitely one of those more emerging from the shadows type teams.
Yeah.
Like they've been borderline irrelevant for a while now, and this could be the start of their uptick. Colin?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the NL Central, you don't see a team there that sticks out as like, oh, this team's going to win the division, or there's not that superstar team that is just definitely going to steamroll the division. So it's definitely wide open. Pirates have obviously had a great start, so let's see if they can keep that
They
momentum
also
going.
had like a super hot start last year too, though. I
Yeah.
think they started
Yeah.
like 20-8 or something, and then they ended like 20 games under 500. It's like the rest of the year they were tragic.
And then, I mean, coming into the year, I was thinking maybe the Cubs were going to edge out the division lead, but they've started rough and dealing with those injury problems. So really is wide open. Great start for the Brewers, and Christian Yelich has been playing great once again. So just definitely wide open here. But I don't know. My overreaction is that I think the Brewers are going to make the playoffs.
Fair enough. I guess, Creston, I didn't ask you for your overreaction. If you want to share yours really quick.
Yeah, mine is that Royce Lewis is just another Byron Buxton.
Where he's incredible when he plays, but he never plays.
Yeah, he's played 72 games in 2 years, and he's torn his ACL twice, and now he has this quad injury that's supposed to keep him out for months. So
He's
Seems
on
like
my-
a lot of games.
He's on my fantasy team
72.
right now.
There's
There's
it's like
160 per season.
Yeah,
that's
and you
just-
said this was over 2 years?
Yeah.
That's 70 out of about 320.
So he's playing like a quarter-
That's,
he's playing like a
played
quarter of the
of the
game.
These
games.
guys a break, man.
He's 24.
Oh,
he
never
has
mind.
2 torn ACLs, and now he has this. He has made 5 trips to the IL in his career. Just
And how long has his career been? Like 3 years?
Yeah,
maybe?
fun in the minors,
3
buddy.
years. Yeah, 3.
Just to start learning the McDonald's menu.
Get ready to learn Enterprise. He's going to be there with Jack Olke and DJ Burns in 2 years.
Enterprise.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think the NL Central. I think you're right. I think any team could win it this year.
What are your thoughts on the Cubs so far?
I think the first was it four games. I think 4 games they played. I think Saturday's loss to the Rangers. That the pitching was not good in that game, and then yesterday the Cubs.
You guys had your new pitcher debut, and he did
I think
pretty
he's
well.
pretty good.
I forget his name, like
Shota
something.
It's Shota. I can't pronounce that. It's Shota
Shota, I don't know the last name off the top.
Imanaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked pretty solid yesterday.
think
He only
like-
gave up a couple hits.
Isn't he
think
a rookie?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
rookie this
Okay.
year.
At 30 years old.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think he threw
Oh.
he threw like 6.
Don't worry about that part. That's
He threw like
irrelevant.
Jeez, they left that out.
5 or 6 no-hit innings.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Rockies aren't necessarily the most formidable team in the world, but they still got a couple decent hitters. Like
Yeah.
Chris Bryant's on that team, Charlie Blackmon's on that team.
He's 30? I'm not surprised because when I was doing research and I saw a picture of him, I was like, rookie? This guy looks like the most stressed out 19-year-old in the world.
Average welder at age 21.
Well, in baseball, like when you're drafted, you can sit in the minors for like a couple years too. Like,
Especially because he came from Japan. So
Yeah.
he had been pitching there.
he kind of had to be discovered a little more, I think.
Yeah, like,
Maybe he's stressed out. Who knows?
Maybe. Alex?
I don't think the NL Central is going to be the best team or best conference, but it'll definitely be the most competitive.
It'll be a lot of
I
fun.
mean, it's only going to take probably 89 games to win that division. I mean, the Cubs, being from Illinois, I think Cody Bellinger just needs to have another season.
I think
like
he's going
last
to be.
season.
Him and Seiya Suzuki are probably going to have to be like their X factors this year.
And like their pitching's been all right, but I think if Imanaga can really step up and show why he's there as a 30-year-old rookie, then they'll be in all right shape.
Do you have an overreaction?
Yeah. So I was just talking about how the Houston Astros dynasty has to be over soon, and
You think
they'll
this
win
is the
less
year?
than 85 games this year.
Wow, that's a good one. I mean, they really struggled in their first series against the Yankees, though, so I guess it's not entirely out of the picture. Like, I saw a screenshot that I thought was kind of funny. The Oakland Athletics actually had a better record than they did for like a day or two, and I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, the Mariners and Rangers only got better, so it's not going to be a cakewalk for Houston to October.
The Mariners are the team that I feel like them and like the Blue Jays are like good examples of teams that are like right there. They just need a little bit of an oomph factor, I feel like.
Oomph.
Also, Ryan, I apologize. I didn't let you share your overreaction.
yeah, I don't think anybody's stopping the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough this year. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that lineup's just too powerful to stop, and like, I think you have like, their pitching is gonna be good because like
they just got so many weapons. It's
Perhaps
so
the
tough. Like,
Yankees.
Walker Buehler. I don't know when Kershaw's coming back.
yeah, Kershaw, I don't know. He's kind of over the hill a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
at this point. I thought he was retiring after last year, in all honesty.
He's ring chasing.
Yep.
What
That
is-
Mickey Mouse ring wasn't enough for him. Ryan, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
As a Lakers fan, Mickey Mouse ring is a very touchy subject.
Yeah, Chris just triggered me.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject.
Got like flashbacks
I-
for a
Well, at least
second.
in the
My
NBA,
blood
they
I just
had
got
like.
hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
just got a little warm.
Open that door.
Jeez.
I gotta open the door.
Also, Michael, what were your thoughts on the NL Central this year?
Well, I think generally, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I remember talking about the Cincinnati Reds and how they're an up and coming team, and now they're actually doing something. At least I don't know. It's still 4 games in. They got 158 more to go, but yeah, personally, I think I don't know who's gonna go like first, second, third, but Pirates are looking pretty good so far, as well as the Brewers have got their first 3 wins.
Speaking of the
Four.
Brewers, just went final. Brewers win 3-2.
Do these guys ever see their
Excellent.
families playing that many? That's so many.
I've always wondered that actually.
Like
They play like every day.
Yeah.
every
And it's
day.
not like it's a short game.
I feel like
Different
even though
Baseball's
in
one of the
baseball
longest
you're
games.
admittedly like a lot of the game is just kind of standing in your respective
Yeah.
positions, but like I feel like that has to get exhausting after a while. It's like you have to go
Another
through
day
all
of
your
standing
Yep.
until a ball comes my
It's
way.
like going to war, dude. It's like being
Yeah.
deployed.
Especially as a
Wow.
catcher, too.
I think
That's a take.
A little different.
games.
Well, we got
I meant
Alex's
like the
second
being-
overreaction of the day.
I mean, like being away.
Baseball
That's what
is
I
war.
did not mean. Baseball is war.
Baseball player, essentially
Hey,
a
the
veteran.
NL Central might be war. Who's to say?
Could be.
Like I have
Could
another
break out
overreaction.
into anarchy.
I think Mookie Betts will be an MVP candidate.
I I don't really think that's an overreaction in all honesty.
they're gonna
He's
be
hitting
one of the best
500 to
teams.
start
He's
the
gonna be the
year.
best player.
He's hitting a bunch of homers. I mean, there's not much of an overreaction there. I guess, Michael, do you have any good overreactions?
Well, nothing too crazy. I was actually going to mention how, well, the Astros got swept by the Yankees first 4 games, which is intriguing. And they're 1-4. Not sure if they're going to still be bad, but yeah.
It's so tough to tell early in the season, too, I feel like. Also, random thought, but for those who know who Bryce Turang is, he's tied for 4th in batting average in the MLB right now, which I think is crazy.
Yeah, that's
It's like how Brian Anderson started like that super hot last year for the Brewers, and he did not stay with it.
I will say that all this Chirrio hype that we had in the offseason might actually be paying off because we were really banking on him being like the next Mike Trout.
I thought you were gonna go in to start talking about like a dessert.
Oh.
Like, who?
Jackson
These
Churro.
guys,
Yeah,
they
Jackson
need more
Churro.
churros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were really banking on him being like the next biggest superstar, and so far it's not going bad. So
No, it's not cataclysmic yet, and he's also so young.
yeah,
I don't know if I necessarily agree with them bringing him up so early, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess my last overreaction, I'm going to go over this one quickly, is that the Yankees are the World Series favorites as of right now, and they can take down the Dodgers because they're playing well. And I want to, Colin, I guess I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on the Yankees?
They've been good. Just the only thing is taking down the Dodgers. I don't know about that. They're just such a deep team. They're like the 2017 Warriors. They've just got their star-studded, and teams like that don't always work out. But in this case, I mean, all these guys are in their prime. Some of them aren't, but their best players are in their prime, and it's just going to be tough to beat. I think they'll go far, but I don't think they're better than the Dodgers.
At the same time, though, everyone said that about the Padres last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs, so it's not entirely impossible that they flame
Well,
out.
the Yankees were like just above 500 last year, right?
Well,
yeah,
they
they didn't make it either.
Yeah.
a lot of
Okay.
their issues just stem down to the fact that Carlos Rodon was terrible last year when he played. He didn't play much. A lot of their older guys kind of took a step back. Aaron Judge was injured for a good portion of the year, and they made a move for Juan Soto in the offseason. They also picked up Marcus Stroman as well, and Anthony Volpe's been a huge hitter for them so far.
Chris
I think
Bednar
one
is a
thing-
huge Yankees guy.
I think one thing about the Yankees this year is Anthony Rizzo needs to be like healthy.
Anthony Rizzo just needs to play better, period,
Yeah, he
in my
just-
opinion.
He
I
needs
forgot
to play
he existed.
better and not get injured.
Yeah, I know.
He's old now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta be
he's
old.
past his prime.
Yeah, I
for
forgot
sure,
he
but-
existed, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we talk about the Yankees, he's not the first person that comes
Well,
to
you
mind.
said Chris
usually.
Bryant and Anthony Rizzo in the same show today, which is kind of wild.
We did. For all those old 2016 nostalgia fiends out there, we got you today. Michael, what were your thoughts on that take?
For the Yankees team?
Yeah.
Well, I agree, honestly. I know yesterday I predicted the Yankees to win the World Series over the Dodgers, so.
Interesting. I mean, who says the Dodgers even make it that far?
Yeah, I feel like the Dodgers are taking a similar approach to the 49ers of the NFL. They're like just keep loading up with more and more star power, and then just, I don't know, will they be able to combine and actually like win the whole thing? I don't know.
I think in baseball, though, it's like it's still a team sport, but like football, you have to have like true cohesion between everything. Whereas in like baseball, offensively, it's like when you're in the batter's box, it's you out there.
Yeah.
It's not like in football where you throw the ball and the receiver has to make a play or something like that.
Yeah. But still, they could still lose though. Anything can happen.
It's possible. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this really quick before we move on to our last topic?
I was just gonna add that they got to stay healthy. They need some of their veterans to step up. I mean, they almost had the losing record last year. Would have been the first time since like '92. So
Yeah.
I think they're wanting to turn their season around.
They were a borderline disaster last year.
Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they won't.
We will see. But we're going to move into our final topic really quick today. Contender or pretender as we get close to these NBA playoffs. There's a couple teams that I wanted to talk about today on whether you think, because I know some of these are a little controversial. I want to start with the Lakers here first. Whether we think they could make some noise come April or later April, I guess, in the not only play-in where they are right now. They're sitting at 9, and they'd play against Golden State in the first playing game. But just even beyond that, assuming they advance, Colin, you have the floor.
So, the Lakers, very interesting. It's kind of the same story as last year, except they didn't blow up their team at the trade deadline. Just in the sense that they've really got it going after the All-Star break. I think they have the second best record in the league after the All-Star break, and I think the third best record in the league since January 1st. So even though they are the 9th seed, they've definitely been hitting their stride and beating some really good teams. I was at that game where they took it to double overtime with no LeBron and beat the Bucks.
The Mickey Mouse ring is a touchy subject, and this game was, for you guys, it's a touchy subject for me.
They're coming back to prove that Mickey Mouse ring wasn't a fluke, and I think it's LeBron. It's the Lakers. Once they get to the playoffs, it's kind of like the Heat in that anything can happen. They were a 7th seed last year, and they made all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So I would you don't want to play those extra games that come with the play-in when you've got a guy like LeBron, who's the oldest player in the league. You want to put as little mileage on him as possible. And do they make it out of the play-in? Probably not. They'd have to win out, I'd say. It's just such a tough race. I mean, right now they're 3 games behind the Pelicans, who are in the 6th seed, but they've been playing their best basketball recently, and they still have no Christian Wood or Jared Vanderbilt, who's their best perimeter defender. So when he comes back, that would be big for their defense, and their offense has definitely been hitting their stride. D'Angelo Russell, once the trade deadline hit, or once those rumors started hitting, he turned into like prime Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Hasn't been playing that
He's been
good
playing
last
out of his
week or
mind.
two, but he's still been playing better than he was earlier in the season.
It almost
But then-
makes you cry. You
And
know?
Rui
It makes me
Seeing
Hachimura,
him play good basketball
But then
in
it's
a Lakers
like,
jersey
once
again.
we get to the playoffs, can he produce?
No, but
last year.
Rui and Reeves are going to step up
Yeah.
like they did last year.
And then, yeah,
Rui
you got Rui
Hachimura
Hachimura.
and Reeves have been revelations the second half of the year, too.
I mean, at that game I was at, Reeves just took over. It was double overtime. Nobody had legs. Nobody was making their shots. Austin Reeves hit like a 26-foot three with like 30 seconds left to just ice the game.
Floor general.
He's got that. He's got ice in his veins. And then you got Rui Hachimura, who has been able to expand his game and add that three-point shot to his game. So I think the Lakers are a dark horse to make it out of the West.
That is interesting. Creston, do you have any thoughts on the Lakers? Contender or pretender?
I mean, when you have a guy named LeBron James on your team, you're always a contender. I also, touching on what he said about having those extra games, I feel like that actually plays to the advantage of LeBron James. I feel like when he gets into playoff mode, he kind of takes it to another level, and I feel
True.
like having those extra games would give whatever team, probably either the Thunder, the Nuggets, or the Timberwolves, trouble. And I just feel like, yeah, it depends on what D'Angelo Russell we get, as you were saying, in the playoffs. But yeah, they have a lot of potential, obviously, if Anthony Davis can stay healthy, getting V8 back and all that. Yeah, I feel like they're always contenders, no matter where they are.
Yeah, it's tough to count them out for sure. I think Darvin Ham is a below-average coach.
I
but
think they should go hire Rajon Rondo now that he's officially retired.
that would be interesting to see him as a coach. But, Michael, what are your thoughts?
What do you mean exactly by contender in this sense? Like, do you think
Just like, can they make a run to like the conference finals? I would say.
I personally don't think so, but I definitely think that.
So you think they're a pretender?
I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
I will say that their record, or they're better than what their record shows. Definitely.
They started the year a little rough, but they also did win the in-season tournament at the same time.
I feel like LeBron teams always kind of start rough. I mean, that 2015 Cavs team was under 500 like halfway through the season, and then, of course, they were in the finals because it's LeBron. That's a little tougher because it's the West and he's so old now, but you always got to give LeBron a shot.
Yep. Alex?
Looking at the playoff picture, they have to play the Warriors as of now in the play-in, which
Who
is
are
good.
also, both of those teams are reasonably hot right now.
Which is good because if they play the Kings, we all know what happens when the Lakers and Kings play.
Sabonis just fathers, just
Yeah.
AD
Yeah.
adopts him.
I don't understand it. But even coming out of the play-in, they'd have to play OKC first round, which I think they can beat OKC because they don't have a lot of or too much playoff experience. I mean, we might finally get that Lakers-Clippers series.
We will see.
love
That
to
would
see
be
that.
interesting
That would be
for
so
sure.
sweet. However, I don't think they'd beat the Clippers in a 7-game series.
They're so different as
That's
like
just too much
teams.
playoff experience.
Anthony Davis, I feel like, could run circles around Ivica Zubac, though,
Zubac.
for a series.
Yeah, but then you still have Kawhi Leonard out there, who will definitely back up Zubac.
I suppose, yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, I think the Lakers. I think this is like the playoff. Like this is the time. I think this could be like LeBron's final test at competing for a championship. It's like I think he said last like was it- Lakers played last night in Brooklyn, and after the game, LeBron was like, LeBron said, I don't have much time left.
He did say that, but I also think he's going to hold out for at least another year
Bronny.
for Bronny.
Just gonna wait for Bronny.
Yeah.
for
And it's
sure.
LeBron. He's going to give himself a farewell tour.
Yeah.
Farewell tour, yeah.
He loves attention. He loves
Yeah.
the limelight.
So I think
He loves reading.
The first page.
This is the year that LeBron needs to like drop like. 40,
This is like a put up or shut up year for him.
This, maybe that's.
The last dance, kind of, I guess. Like for him, like his version
I
of
don't know.
it.
I mean, outside of LeBron, the
Like
Lakers
40,
aren't that
right?
old of a team. They're still going to be fine next year,
How old's Anthony Davis now?
like 30.
Well, it's
Okay.
more about like LeBron's swan
Yeah.
song than like the team itself.
Yeah.
But I guess the overall vibe here is that the Lakers are probably gonna be like a second round team somewhere in there. I feel like that's fair.
I mean,
They
depending
could win-
on if they
they could
play
win
the
a series or
Timberwolves.
two.
If they go like OKC then Timberwolves, I think that's kind of a cakewalk.
They just got to make sure Anthony Edwards doesn't get hot because the last time they played him in the play-in, he was like 0 for 17
Yeah.
at one point. It was insane.
Well, that's
he could
what
not
would
hit
be
a
so
shot.
big about Jared Vanderbilt coming back is, he played with Anthony Edwards at some point, so he knows his game,
Revenge game.
a
Yeah.
little bit. But also, he's just such a good defender. And I mean, the Lakers, like I said, have been super hot, and they don't even have their best perimeter defender. So I think they can definitely make some noise. But they could also flare out in the second round.
A D'Angelo revenge series, that would be.
I would love
That would be
D'Angelo
something,
Russell to
too.
just go off in the playoffs. If D'Angelo Russell averages like over 20 points in the playoffs, I think the Lakers are a lock for the Western Conference
I mean,
Finals.
the Lakers' next two games are they have the Wizards and the
Yeah.
Raptors. So
They have the 24th.
Basically, almost two guaranteed
Oh,
Ws.
baby.
They
Yeah,
have
the
the
Rap-
sixth easiest remaining schedule, so they play like a couple teams over 500.
trying to
But
find their schedule.
The Raptors played themselves out of the playoffs. They are on a 13-game losing streak.
wow,
That is.
I
I
forgot
mean, they
about the
would have made
Raptors.
zero noise in the playoffs. They would have been
They
swept by any
blew-
team
they,
first
they knew
round.
what they were doing. They knew it was time with the
Tank.
core that
who,
they had.
Who are they even tanking for though? Robert Dillingham.
And like the Lakers have.
This might have been the worst year to tank, honestly.
Yeah, I think the Lakers have at the last few games at Toronto, at Washington, and then 3-game homestand against Cleveland, Minnesota, and Golden State. And
Those are all important
Yeah,
games.
at
Very
Mem-
important. All
at
winnable
Memphis,
games too.
and then the season finale at New Orleans.
That's another
That's gonna
tough
be a
one
huge
too.
game,
That's gonna
depending on how
have
it plays out.
implications too. But I just want to get to another team really quick before final thoughts. This one's gonna have to go a little quicker than the Lakers did. The Dallas Mavericks, winners of 7 in a row. Michael, take this one.
Okay, great. Well, I'd say if they keep things going the way they are right now, I mean, really with the way that Hardaway's finally been able to like make his threes, he's not going out there taking a 1 of 12 games or something like that.
Shooting
He's-
tour dates.
Yeah, Kyrie is hot. Luka's shooting really well. He's doing phenomenal. As long as Jason Kidd can get the right lineups.
That's
They-
easier said than done for a guy like Jason Kidd, as
Yeah,
someone who was a
so-
Bucks fan
yeah.
when he was there.
Yeah, he's my only concern. But outside of that, I think if they can go out and execute, I think that they are contenders.
Yeah, I think it comes down to Luka and Kyrie at the end of the day more than anything
That-
else. It's like
Well,
whether
that's-
Luka can put up his 45-point triple doubles that we know he's capable of, because it's like, yeah, he did that against the Rockets the other day, but we need you to do that against the Lakers or
The Nuggets.
The
But the
Pelicans.
Rockets are like the hottest team in the league right now.
They were, and they got
just
they got
lost their first
stonewalled.
game after like an 11-game winning streak.
They got stonewalled in that
Yeah.
game. Jalen
Yeah.
Green was abysmal, and I know that because he's on my fantasy team, and I needed him to play well.
He's got issues in his home
Chris is
life.
just
We all know Jalen Green's issues.
venting right now.
Yes,
Just steam coming out of his ears.
frustration. Creston, really quick over the Mavericks.
I think they have that potential. Obviously, I feel like anybody in the West has the capability to make a run. They do play the Warriors twice, Thunder once, Rockets once, Heat once, so they have a tough schedule coming up. But if they can, I say if they can win at least 5 or 6 of those last couple games, they can have the momentum to beat some teams in the playoffs.
I think a lot of the playoffs just comes down to like how you've been playing before the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's so hard
Yeah.
to just turn it on.
Momentum.
Colin?
Yeah, I think obviously they're super hot right now, and Luka has been putting up insane numbers, like absolutely bonkers. But only
Bonkers.
looking at these top 6 teams that are in the playoffs for the West right now, the only team I don't think Dallas could beat is Denver. Any other team, especially the Clippers, I think Luka would just like start rubbing his hands when he sees the Clippers. That's just barbecue chicken
James
for him.
Harden is not
Yeah.
locking him up.
So I think they could make a run. I wouldn't call them contenders. I'd say Western Conference Finals is their ceiling, and I think if they stay within the top 6 seeds, I think Luka's the MVP. I mean, 40-point triple doubles.
I still
out the
think they're
wazoo.
going to give it to Jokic. They love Jokic. The committee does.
Luka's just insane. Like, you got to give him his flowers at some point. I know he's still super young and he's going to get his MVPs at some point, but why not now? They're
Luka
finally
Doncic
in the
is
top 5
the best
seeds.
player that's ever touched a basketball.
He's the best player in the league right now.
I'd put him in. Guys,
don't.
hear me
What are you
out.
about to say? Top
I'm
5.
not saying
wow.
he's the greatest, but like as far as just like best, like
Best in the league right now? Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
no, like the best.
No.
Like ever?
Chill.
No.
Chill.
Yeah,
What is
Put
he
it
doing?
over-
Take it how you want to. Take it
Over
how you want
LeBron
to.
already. I mean, the
best.
best player from Slovenia. Yeah, I agree with you. Ryan?
Yeah, take it how you want to.
I think the Mavericks are contenders because I think Luka should be the MVP.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I agree with you. I was on the Shade train for a while, but
Yeah.
he's kind of fallen apart the last
Yeah.
few weeks.
Like
The
Luka's-
Bucks did a number on
Yeah,
him.
I think Luka's averaging like a 30-point triple double this year.
Almost.
He's
He's
averaging
close.
my career numbers.
Like
Last month he was
He's out there
averaging
playing
like
35,
I think
35,
what
10, and
he's
10.
done, and the numbers he's put up, is incredible. So.
He turned the difficulty down to a rookie
Yeah.
about 2 weeks ago. Just been going off.
Laz?
Spent all his VC. I think you know my opinion on this Mavs team. I think Luka Doncic is, you just put a basketball in his hands and magic's going to happen.
Luka Magic is his saying.
And let's not forget about Kyrie Irving. That hasn't been mentioned once. Kyrie's the second best player on that team. Even when Luka's having a slow night, Kyrie will still put up 20,
That game
25.
winner Kyrie hit the other night was insane. The little left hand, like 20-foot
The other
floater.
night.
Oh yeah, well it was,
like
like,
a
probably like
week
a couple
ago. It was over
weeks ago,
spring break, so.
actually.
Yeah. He hooked. Great little hook shot. Did they beat Denver? That was
Yeah,
Denver?
they beat
Yeah.
Denver.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
gonna
So it
mention
is
that to you
possible.
when
It
we
is
talk about
possible that they
Denver.
take. Because,
In a
if they get up 2-1
7-game
in that series, it's anyone's game at that point.
I think Luka Doncic in the playoffs just suns everybody.
He does.
He
Just
does.
like he'll go drop 40 on you,
He
and then just
kicks
like
it into a gear we didn't think was possible.
Pat
I
you
just
on
don't
top
think
of
the
the head.
Mavericks could stop Jokic. That's why I'm saying they can't beat the Nuggets.
no,
I
their
mean-
defense is horrible.
Yeah.
They do not have great.
That's the only
defense
thing
at
Luka
all.
doesn't have is
Yeah.
defense.
Luka's not a great
You
defender.
cannot. He's got everything else.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
I
only
love
thing
that
he doesn't
man.
have.
I love that man.
Glaze
All right.
train.
Okay.
On to final thoughts with that. Anyone but Alex. I guess Ryan, I'll let you start.
Whoa.
I don't want this Luka hype to keep going.
Anyone but Alex.
No,
Mute
whoa.
him. Mute that man.
I'm leaving here with something.
Yes, go ahead, Ryan.
All right, I think I'm just pointing this out that Rajon Rondo is retired from the NBA.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think he was still technically active. I mean, great career though. I mean,
Yeah.
he was incredible. Playoff Rondo was always something to be seen. Colin?
I just want to shout out the guy sitting a couple rows behind me at the Bucks-Lakers game. To see a Bucks fans, and then you get this one Lakers fan who is just like losing his voice screaming, and then he got kicked out of the game. Because when Austin Reeves hit that dagger, he went around the whole like stadium dapping up all the people wearing Lakers jerseys, including myself. And then I just didn't see him for the rest of the game.
What a
So,
legend.
He was a legend for sure. Shout out that guy.
We may disagree on our favorite team, but I can always respect greatness.
Look, I'll root for the Bucks unless they're playing LeBron James.
That's fair.
Right. My sunshine.
Yeah.
You
It's crazy.
are-
Preston.
Chase Claypool might be headed to the CFL, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
That's-
Canadian, so
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Michael?
I guess to say another team. I think we were gonna talk about the Bucks, but we didn't have enough time. I think that they're contenders as well.
They're inconsistent. They're
Yeah.
up and down. They
I could
really
see
are.
them losing to like the Knicks, the
And it's Doc Rivers in the
Celtics for
playoffs.
sure.
Yeah.
There's so many teams I can
You
see
can
them
never
losing
count
to.
Doc Rivers in the playoffs. It's like a lot of other teams don't count this guy out, don't count this guy in.
I'm waiting for the thank you fans post from the Bucks in like 2 weeks.
The best fans in the
Yeah.
NBA. Les?
I think the Bucks should trade Damian Lillard for Caitlin Clark, and they would most likely win it all.
Interesting.
Wait till she meets Draymond Green, bro.
That would be rough.
Or Patrick Beverly.
On our own team.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for our Hawk Talk here on Tuesday, 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater. As always, make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Carson's show, Thursday for Nolan's show. We got some softball coming up in the next few weeks, so that should be fun. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good rest of your night.